All right, hey gang, Nate Bear here, lead technical tactician for Monument Traders Alliance and Trade of the Day. And in today's video update, just want to kind of update you guys on the SPY and also the Qs, let you know kind of where we're at. Talk about sort of a recap of what we talked about last week, and then I've got a setup that I am looking for entry. All right, so the first thing is, if you recall, last week we talked about this daily chart on the SPY and this major 618 retracement level, which I don't remember the number off the top of my head. It's around 549. Well, I think we pinned to the low there. We got the low to about 25 cents. Not bad, right? Not bad after a 10% correction to get the low to about 25 cents. But with that said, the biggest thing I think is not so much that, okay, that was the low, but the fact that we've now broken above and closed above this channel, right? So this is what we talked about would eventually happen. So what I'm actually thinking, right, is we've got this week is OPEX, usually a choppy, sort of sloppy week. And we have the FOMC and Powell on Wednesday. So my thought is actually that we get a situation where we actually kind of like chop around, maybe even pull back into the 19th, right? 19th at 2 p.m. is kind of like right through here. Sort of retest this big point of control from this base, perhaps retest like the top of this trend line, right? And then possibly get a move higher after Powell on Wednesday. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So a little bit of a sort of a pullback from here. Of course, anything can happen, right? I mean, the market could be up here before Powell speaks, for all I know, right? Anything can happen. But that's an idea that I have, and if we get that pullback, I will actually look to be a buyer, in through here somewhere before Powell or after Powell, depending on how the day goes and what actually happens. We also may go higher. If we do go higher, I think we've got room up to about 575. And if we chop around in through here, that would also make sense to me, sort of staying above these people. That would also make sense to me. Okay, so kind of what I'm looking at. The Qs are very similar, right? We've got actually the Qs have a sort of a wider range down in through here. But if the Qs could just sort of stay above this chunk of people, follow that over, it's kind of like right in through here, right? And if we can sort of stay above that, then we have the opportunity to continue on this bounce. All right. So the name I'm looking at is CAH, and this is one that I've traded recently. We caught sort of this move, but we have a daily squeeze, we have a trend, we have a pattern, beautiful sort of flag here, and we have a catalyst coming up in a couple months for earnings, right? That's May 1st. So what I'd like to do here is a standard, sort of TPS setup, but you see this big red line right here? That's the point of control, right? For all of this price action. So what I'm going to do is just very simply, I want to buy a pullback to that point of control. And that level is around 127.50. So I'm going to set an alert here when we cross under 128. If we cross under 128, but if we get some weakness today, Tuesday, Wednesday into Powell, I think CAH would be a great buy. Now, I don't want to chase it up here. So if it just breaks out, then it just breaks out. That's fine. No big deal. But if we do get a pullback into this point of control, I want to be a buyer off of this 128, 127 area for a move higher into earnings. And again, the earnings are May 1st. So what does that mean as far as what option I would select? Well, if we go over to CAH, I want to go out past their next earnings, right? And remember, they're in May. So I want to go out to, look at that, perfect, May 2nd, right there. I can go to the May 2nd, and I would like to do probably, wow, these are terribly spready. Okay, so this does include earnings, but look at the spreads. It's a $3.20 spread. No, thank you. So we'll go out to the next month, whatever that is. So June, we'll go out to June, and I'm gonna go with the 130s, right? Yeah, maybe the one. Let's see, it's Delta 56. That'd be fine. So I'm gonna do the 130s. I'm gonna do the 130s on a pullback into that 127, 128 area. So again, that's all the way out to June. I'm not messing around with short dated stuff on a swing trade. I don't want to try and time it. This market is too unpredictable, too volatile to try and be cute when you're trading large charts. Okay. If you're trading a 5-minute chart, sure, short date it all day long, no problem at all, because you're not going to be in it for very long. But when you're taking a trade against a daily chart, you really got to pay attention to giving yourself more time than you think. I believe in this environment, right? And if the move happens in the next day, great, wonderful. You didn't hurt yourself by going further out in time. You just paid a little bit more for the option, but it's like buying insurance because the option isn't going to decay anywhere near as quickly. All right, so that's what I'm going to go with. The June 20th, 130 calls in CAH on a pullback into this point of control around 127.50. All right, that's what I've got. I hope it helps, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good one. Later.